Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And guess what, y'all? It's the God's Born Day. And we up in here, we celebrating right here, right now. That's right. Big 5-0, ready to go. But let me introduce you to my peoples, yo. Let me get down with the man them called Evan. And Renee Johnson. Cash rules.
Happy birthday!
Yeah. Happy birthday!
Thank
Are
you.
you gonna leave your cash up at
You know I'm
for the
going
whole show?
I'm going for it right now. How did you Renee? You know me so well. You know me so well. I was going for it right now. Matter of fact, here's what you can do. All right, you can run to your phone and get your Cash App thing ready, and you can go ahead and send that to $EARDR1. We very much appreciate it, you know. Yes. All right.
How's it feel, man? Half a century, you know what I'm saying? You out here, wise.
Hey man, I like that. Feels good. It feels good. You know what I'm saying? I'm only as old as my age, and I've been getting told when I tell people all this week, like, you know, I'm turning 50. They like, God damn, black don't crack. So it's good. I feel good. Went out on the basketball court this weekend and served some youngins up. So you know what I'm saying? I still got it. You know, but I feel good, man. I feel good. How y'all doing?
That's awesome. I'm doing good.
Where you at, man?
I'm in an undisclosed location. You know what I'm saying? I can't be saying all that. You know what I mean?
I feel you. You know what I mean? I got you.
I'm out here in the world. That's all you need to know.
Okay, you doing work?
Yeah. I had a busy work weekend. I had a busy Monday and got a lot of work this week, but it's all good. Happy to be here.
Okay. And Renee, all day. What it look like?
Oh, this phone, my fault, y'all. Y'all know I be driving, trying to. If Ear Doctor didn't make fun of me so much about my old car and how loud it is while I'm driving, I could just stay unmuted. But since I don't like to be tortured, I stay on mute, which means I have to find the mute button every time I need to say something.
She got a rotary phone. Go ahead.
You know, I actually might still have a rotary phone somewhere. I'm not even gonna lie. I still have my BlackBerry. I still have my
BlackBerry.
What was
That's the two-way.
I do still have my two-way pager. Actually.
You still got your sidekick?
I do. I never had a sidekick.
Me neither.
But I do still have my first cell phone, which was like a Nokia that looked like,
a flip phone.
That shit. No, like.
Oh, you talking about
the brick? The Nokia brick, the indestructible Nokia brick.
The 80s drug dealer phone? God damn. The call Nino, they come in.
Oh, man, listen.
They raided the Carter.
Listen.
Oh, snap. That's dope. Yo. It was a good weekend, though, man. I had a good time. I was outside doing things. Tonight, my cousin's taking me to a basketball game. Go see the Hawks do their thing.
That's cool. And is your party this weekend?
My party is this weekend. Yes. So I'm getting that all together.
You still have to send me your address if you want me to send you a cake.
Oh.
We had the whole conversation, and then I was like, he never sent me his address, and now your birthday's actually here, so you should.
Yeah, I'm realizing
get on that.
my short-term memory is like long-term memory.
They do say the memory is the first thing to go.
Oh my God. And I almost feel like I'm going to have Alzheimer's. Like I'm already prepared. I really do. I really feel like because that's why I live for the day, for the present. I mean, that's all that we know is real. We could talk about the future. We could talk about the past, but that's just in the past.
I mean, that's cloud.
I'm trying to give y'all some of my wisdom.
All that smoke and herbs.
I mean, I ain't gonna say it wasn't. I ain't gonna say I ain't part of it. But yeah, they say yeah, a lot of memories cells are burnt up. But anyway, so work was done in the street. Renee's, had a good show this Saturday. What was your show on, Renee?
I feel like it was a long time ago too, which is crazy.
Y'all had some two sisters on there.
We did. We had Lara Shihai on, and also Avi, whose last name I'm not going to torture, but Avi is a psychoanalyst, and she has a theory called exigent sadism that Lara introduced me to, and it is actually a really fascinating look at what happens when you decide to buck what the expectation of state is and to confront people by just like doing the thing that is like for example, wearing my Israel is a settler colony sweatshirt and recognizing that the state's not gonna like that. I don't really care that the state's not gonna like it. There are gonna be people who don't like it. I don't really care about that either, because it's a fact, and I'm gonna wear it as an attempt to confront people with the horrendousness of what's happening in Palestine, and that is an example of exigent sadism.
Yeah, and you're not worried about what you're gonna lose because of it.
No,
right?
Yeah.
No, that was a dope show. Shout out to both of them, Lara and Avki.
You just be fucking up names.
No, I heard it and it's hard for me, but no, that was a really dope show. And the comrade from BAP Austin was on breaking some stuff down as well. So that was a really dope show. Shout out to all your guests.
Yeah, well. Oh, is that Shirley? I ain't seen her in a minute. Hey, Shirley. The title of the show frightened me, so I didn't click on it. C.R.E.A.M, cash rules everything around me. Your boy's giving out $2,000 soon. You better get in line.
Is that another? I mean,
what?
He's just lying again.
I mean, who knows? I mean, shit. He gave out 14 before. He might give out 2,000.
He also said he's gonna sign that Epstein thing when it comes to his desk. So.
I heard he was like, tell the Democrats open the files. I don't give a fuck. I was like, all right, Trump, talk your shit. Yo, man, we need a black dude in office like that, man.
Oh my god.
Healthcare for everybody.
That's what it should be, but
yeah,
unfortunately.
Well, maybe they'll get free healthcare in New York now that they got. Who's this guy again?
I think they'll get free buses. Maybe I don't think free healthcare or something. But maybe they'll get buses. Mamdani.
Yeah. Renee's waiting on it.
Why would I be waiting on that? I don't know.
Oh yeah. you probably already got benefits. What am I talking about?
I do. Fortunately, my husband has a job, so this has worked out well since I lost mine. So yeah.
I gotta marry up. I did before. But yeah. Anyway.
So it's the week of action in support of Venezuela. So that's something that we can talk about.
You ready to pop up your flyers so you can talk about it?
Let's pop them both up. I want to make sure I get this.
Let's get this out the way, because before he even said good morning, he was like, "Yo, you got me flyers." I'm saying, you want to? I was like, "God damn!"
Listen, I got people. I got comrades I got to answer to. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I gotta get this done.
They got foot upon neck, huh? Let me find out. All right, let's see what we got here.
Yes, Comrade Elon, I'm on my job.
Damn. All right, 10 years of PACA.
Okay, this is first. Okay. So this is first. Shout out to PACA, Pan-African Community Action. We were celebrating 10 years of work 10 years of being on the streets, 10 years of working with the people. This is our fundraiser. It's going to be on Saturday, the 22nd of November, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. In particular, this wait, go back up. Go too fast. In particular, this event, right, is to raise funds for
let's go, Evan.
My fault. This event is to raise funds to support our work in the community, right? In particular, our People's Pan-African Wellness Front, which is our health initiative, and our Assad Shakur Study Group, which is our political education initiative. So please come out and support those. It'll be at the Palestine House of Freedom at 650 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's near Eastern Market in Southeast.
All right, 5 o'clock. Okay.
Come through. And then this is currently BAP's Week of Action. And we, in alliance with that or coordinated with that, we're going to be having a coordinated day of action on November the 19th, at noon. And this is really to support Venezuela's sovereignty. Please meet us at Barracks Row on Capitol Hill at 8th and G Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. This will be a rally. There will be speakers making the connections between militarism, U.S. militarism abroad, and our domestic colony here. You can see many of the organizations that are sponsoring, including BAP, right, including PACA, including DPC, right, and the party, right. So just want to make sure that we highlight those events. Please come out if you're in the area tomorrow and on Saturday.
All right, there it is. Let's bring for Cabal K. Franklin. What up, boss?
How y'all feeling? How's everybody doing?
Everybody's good. I'm great, man.
You're
Your boy 50 today, man. It's good.
Oh, happy birthday,
my brother. You know what I'm saying? 7 years strong. We've been rolling, man. You
know I know. I feel like I knew you since you was a youngster, a young man in this game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hey, man, I remember when your beard wasn't so great, man. That was crazy.
You was like in diapers and I had to carry you around like this and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when you first started rocking the Long John shirts, man, and you still going strong.
I remember when you had hair, you know what I'm saying? You had like a whole, remember all that, you know what I'm saying? You was on your first corner spot, you know what I'm saying? And you worked your way up in the game, son. I remember all that.
I remember when you first was like, yo, she pregnant. I was like, word. Oh my man's Kamal K. Franklin in the building. What's good, y'all?
That just took such a terrible turn so quickly that I hit my video button by mistake because I was so...
You almost came on camera for that?
I was like, what just happened?
Word. Good to see you. How was your weekend, man?
I was good. It was good. I was with the kids. It was good.
Oh, okay.
Did a couple of visits to the farm.
Oh, okay. You,
nice.
You milk some bees, honey?
What?
You get some honey from the bees? Don't you got like
bees?
Yeah,
we do have bees, but I ain't get no honey from the bees. Okay. We were talking about we at the stage. No thanks to you in the audience who hasn't given us enough money in terms of community movement builders, but we are at the stage where we are about to build our retreat center. So by this time next year, we should have a full retreat center to host bigger retreats. More folks can stay on the farm. Again, over 13 acres, our Love Land Liberation Project out here in Georgia. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to sort of be on that trail. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time for us to get to some news.
What? I just got on.
Yeah, well, it's just...
Evan, you changed locations.
I know. I'm in an undisclosed location.
Now we got to do all this over again.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, just run your show.
No. Now ask Renee. What's up with you, Renee?
No, run your show.
I did announcements. You weren't here for those come out, and
Yeah, well, you want to do those again, Evan?
I'm gonna do them again at the end, so it's all good. But before we do, come out just in your wide, vast, long experience, right, in the movement. How many community-based orgs do you know that make it 10 years?
Not a lot. Or they go into 10 years struggling, name only.
That's right.
So a lot of organizations do not do that. Do we have one besides Community Movement Builders, which is also having its 10th year anniversary?
Okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're not competing. We're not competing.
No, who else are we talking about? I thought you were
Whoa.
Community action. PACA, obviously. I'm talking about my organization. PACA. We have a fundraiser on Saturday.
We heard, Evan. What was you saying, Kilmau? 10 years too?
Yeah, we've been out in the game 10 years, son. 10 years. 9 chapters. 10 years we've been out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Let them cook, Evan. Let them cook.
Oh, let me cook, Evan. Let me cook. Organizing the people. You know what I'm saying? 9 chapters across the country.
Talk that talk.
Properties all over where we got our organizers working out the properties. We got stable community hubs in different places. We redoing our different cooperatives. We do street patrols. We out here moving, trying to work for the people.
That's right. Free refrigerators for people outside. That
we had that until the snitch
snitched
us out kind of thing and called the cops on us for giving away free food.
Yeah, that was.
She called the cops on us. Free food during COVID.
She didn't want people coming on her street that she didn't know, so she was kind of.
Well, the crazy shit is that she used to use it, and then she got all mad
because other people was coming getting her food before she could get to it. Wow. That you see why she did it. All right. A-Rob, come out. I emailed you.
You did? My bad. I'm gonna find it.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our first break. And
Parker.
Yeah, raise the roof, Parker. And we got a whole tomorrow. I think we got a whole nother Parker blah 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 going on tomorrow.
Big action defense of Venezuela because this country is losing. Well, this country's doing what it always does.
Crazy, yeah. We should get to the news. A lot of crazy stuff happening.
Let's do that.
Particularly in the international arena.
All right, sounds like a plan. Let's take a break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Welcome out, y'all. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. Oh, at the bottom of the screen right now, it says tip the DJ for his birthday, $EARDR1. But you can also go to blkliberationmedia.org and donate. Show your love there. We are demonetized as a channel, and every bit helps. You can also pull out your phone and go right there to the QR code. All right, boom. Let's talk about the weather. Let me get y'all in the right state of mind with my visual effects when talking about the weather. Bam, let's get to it. All right, so let's start off in the ATL. We got a high today of 72 degrees. Next, let's go to DC. They got a high of 50 degrees. That's a big little change right there. Chicago, 44, still nice and cold. Houston, 84 degrees. Let's take you to Venezuela. Caracas, they got a high today of 83. And last but not least, let's take you to Kende, Benin. They got a high today of 95 degrees. Now, that was pretty hot. I'll tell you what else was pretty hot. I did a conference this weekend, which was the National Conference of Black Lawyers. And I got to run into Dr. Carr. Dr. Carr was in the building, Dr. AK, and they was breaking down how to be, in your craft and have your history, have your morals, be for your people and be a lawyer. We got to talk about Chokwe Lumumba, and they broke down all the stuff he did working with Tupac, working with Asada, and all types of different Black Panthers, and how he was for the movement and also a lawyer for the people. It was pretty good. It was good to see them young people understanding that you got to do more than just make money. You got to work for the people. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
You take me higher, higher.
Yeah. Yo, when he was doing this thing and talking about Chokwe, I was like, yo, I would like to hear some more about the stories of working with him, Kamal. I know you used to work with him. Did I mess his name up?
Yeah. I do Chokwe for like 20 something years. Yeah. Worked directly with them. Chokwe was the leader of New African People's Organization, one of the founders. of NAPO and Malcolm X grassroots movement. Obviously, the person that we ran for city council and he ran for mayor in Jackson, Mississippi. C.R.E.A.M was a leader amongst people. You know what I mean? He definitely was a leader.
Yeah. So it was dope to see that. You know, why people got no love for Dr. Carr? Some people.
I mean,
because he's a jackass.
Ooh, ow, god damn.
He's not a historian, though.
What
Say it
is
again?
that? You can't be both those things. A
I
historian
guess you
and a
can be,
jackass?
because I'm an ass.
What is
I'm an
that?
asshole. Kamal's an asshole.
Okay.
I mean, come on, Kamal. You gotta.
But you can be a good DJ and a jackass at the same time, right? Kamal can be a good organizer and a jackass at the same time. Not that I'm calling either of you jackasses, but neither cancels out the other. His being a jackass does not cancel out his being a historian.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. Well,
Ouch.
I like to be an ass too. So, I mean, I guess. But anyway, it was good to see. Your boy Killer Mike came through also.
Oh,
Yeah.
word! You got you
all your
them-
faves.
Yeah.
Did you walk up to him and tell him we got no love for you? We got smoke for you, son?
Right.
Not at all. He was there celebrating one of the youngsters that was getting an award and stuff for being a lawyer. So yeah, it was cool. It wasn't
Wait a minute. What was the event?
National Black Conference of Lawyers.
Oh, the National Conference of Black Lawyers.
The Black Lawyers. Yeah. So
I was
like, say, you don't know about this, or you didn't?
I didn't go to the thing, but like a couple of decades ago, for at least a year, I think I was like the national president.
Okay, look at that. So yeah, it was cool. Everybody was out there. Even a former person on this channel was there.
Oh wow!
Did y'all hug when you first?
It was a nice ignore. It was a nice ignore.
It
was go up and say hi to the other band members and then walk back. Like I was like, okay. I was like, I'm 5 years old out here. That's great.
Wow. I feel like you hit a bingo card for all of like the enemies.
Jared's
like, all the feuds,
specifically Jared's
like, oh my goodness. I mean, that's the thing, man. I'm in places where I meet all types of people. I meet everybody. So they need sound, they need music, they love me. It's like, yo, Dr. Carr was like, yo, I love what you do, Ear Doctor. I love the Remix Morning Show. He gave props and said big up.
He told that damn lie. No, he don't. Why?
He does. Whoa, wow. Renee got so much heat. Like every time I see him, he's like, yo, Ear Doctor, you my man. And the first time he says he watches this show.
Yeah, but loving you and loving the whole Remix Show is not the same thing. Just saying.
Yeah. Also, who compared us to DJ Vlad? That's what I wanted. Was that Dr. Carr that did that?
Who
did we get prepared to?
I don't know. A-Rob put this in the chat and I wanted to better understand.
Who is y'all?
That's on.
I don't go off rumors, man.
No grumbling on the show. No grumbling.
Yeah, nah,
not good.
I got these pure things.
He just compared y'all to DJ Vlad. Hilarious.
Oh, well, I guess I get love when some people, I'm not as political, I guess, as y'all. So I don't have no.
No, you apparently got your own feud. You said your man walked by you.
Oh no feud. When you ignore people, that's not a feud. When you have an altercation, you go back and forth.
Oh,
I don't do that. I don't do that.
You don't do that?
I don't go back and forth with niggas. So, all right.
I like that.
News.
That's like a inner peace thing. I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah, you'll get there, man. When you turn well.
Yo, Remix Morning Show coming to you live. Only on the Remix Morning Show can you get that kind of like love and hate in all of within 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Here with Evan and Renee, we are here to drop some news for you guys. Hopefully, you guys will drop some donations. BOKLiberationMedia.org. You'll drop some likes. You'll tell a friend to tell a friend. The only way we keep this channel going is to make sure that folks know what we're doing. People can come here and seek information. They can figure out what organizations to join. They can figure out how to get in the movement. And hopefully they can pick up some pieces here and there that can help, turn around some of their own politics, or they can add some things that help us learn some things about our politics, as the chat, as much to my chagrin, frequently does. It is the smartest chat that you will find in the land, and so folks should really, really come on and be a part of it. Y'all ready to do some news?
Let's do it. Let's jump into it.
Hit it here, Doc. Cool. Who got some stuff going on?
Let's see. We got.
Can we talk about this Security Council vote? I don't have a link or anything because I just walked in the door. But I don't, and it's probably not on the sheet because.
Oh no, it is.
Oh, it's on the sheet.
Oh, is it? Because it just happened. So I don't know how often Erica goes in to do it.
No, it's three. It's three. Yeah, it's three.
I'll read a brief intro. It says UN Security Council votes to endorse Donald Trump's Gaza plan. The resolution, which includes references to an independent Palestine, was passed by a 13-0 vote, with China and Russia abstaining. Says the UN Security Council has endorsed proposals put forth by Donald Trump for a lasting peace, that should be in quotes, in Gaza, including the deployment of an international stabilization force and a possible path to sovereign Palestine state. That should be noted as a lie. The resolution, again, passed by 13-0 votes. Let me see. It's a quote here by UN representative, U.S. envoy to the UN, Mike Waltz, says, "A new course in the Middle East for Israelis and Palestinians and all the people of the region alike has been set. The inclusion of references to the independent Palestine was the price the U.S. paid for the back world, who are expected to provide peacekeepers for an international stabilization force." However, on the eve of the UN vote, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu restated his government's adamant opposition to the creation of a Palestinian state, raising questions on whether Israel will allow the implementation of the UN-mandated proposals. After the vote, Hamas rejected what it described as an imposed international guardianship mechanism and insisted that it would not disarm. Supporters of the resolution said it should lead to the immediate lifting of remaining curbs on the flow of aid to Gaza, the creation of an international stabilization force which would fill the vacuum left by Israeli military withdrawal. Okay, that vacuum left by the genociding party. Okay, the moves toward reconstruction and possible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, this one was a mess. I feel like there was also something further down in the article that mentioned that maybe it was this article, maybe it wasn't, maybe I'm getting confused. I thought they said, something that has been described as a genocide, but of course didn't call it one. So I think they did that little kind of nonsense. Also, what vacuum, like that phrasing is weird, right? Because the vacuum that they're leaving is genocide, right? So is the stabilization force going to come in there and also going to continue the genocide? And I do want to lift up, a point from Comrade Cloud. This is why BAP's Haiti America's team, Dr. Jemima Pierre, shout out to her, says Haiti is a laboratory for empire. The GSF, or Global Stabilization Force, laid out the template for this, right? So when the UN was violating Haiti's sovereignty and sending a so-called peacekeeping force, right? How did that turn out for Haiti? Turned out really, really badly, right? It just like it's going to turn out for Palestinians in Gaza. It's no surprise that the Security Council got behind this plan. I'm not gonna call it peace plan, Trump's plan. I think also there's going to be an element where there's like some kind of like governing body that Trump is supposed to be the chair of, but the other members haven't been stated. And then also what's important, right? Like there's all this talk about like the concessions that were made in terms of kind of talking about Palestinian independence and sovereignty, which is really just kind of like I think the way it's phrased is like down the line, once the PA, the Palestinian Authority has like reconstituted itself, and once rebuilding has started, then down the line, y'all going to have, an independent Palestine, right? Which is, silly on its face, right? But Netanyahu has come out explicitly right after this and said that they are fundamentally against having a Palestinian state, right? So they're talking out of mouth, right? And this is very clearly just a way for them to kind of cover their butts after committing a genocide for more than 2 years. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'd say quick. I mean, this is no different in terms of the language about a Palestinian state than the Oslo Accords, right? What you have here is constantly, but in the past, is these agreements which don't define a when, they don't define all of the territory, and that's on purpose, right? Basically, they're telling they're giving public cover for Israel's continual capturing and taking of Palestinian land. And that's why, I think part of this vote is so disgusting. And I will single out China and Russia for their abstentions. Russia has shown itself just not to be the friend of Palestinians over and over again. Russia, at the beginning of this war, when it went in, or the beginning before the war, when it went into Syria to keep Assad in power, could have done a lot more to beat back the Israeli forces, which it allowed to bomb both Hezbollah and Iran. And so Putin has basically instated that one of the reasons they feel a certain way about Israel is because, according to him, at least a third to half of the citizens of Israel come from Russia. So Russia gets no quarter whatsoever for their abstention. Basically, they voted with the same people who are basically at war with them through Ukraine. They voted to give them everything that they wanted. And I find that disgusting. People talk about China. China is not a full superpower. No full superpower will allow the West to continue to do what it's done in Palestine and in the Middle East. So for them to abstain also shows their weakness. And then finally, the capitulation, again, of the Middle Eastern governments, the Arab and Muslim governments, which time and time again have sold out the Palestinian cause, all to curry favor with the United States and with Israel, is completely disgusting. They know damn well that putting that language in this resolution does nothing to guarantee Palestinian sovereignty. They know damn well that Israel is never going to allow some international force that it doesn't completely dictate or control. And this is all measures to disarm Hamas further and to take control of Gaza, and to take further control, as this is happening, they are taking further control of the West Bank. So this is a terrible resolution, as expected, which does nothing for Palestinian sovereignty, only upholds and protects Western hegemony, particularly United States and Israeli hegemony in the region.
Yeah. And just to be clear, the genocide has not stopped. I think it's kind of frustrating that they keep talking about this ceasefire deal when Israel's continued to murder people. So I just want to also state that.
It's also frustrating for me, this acting like they're not killing people in the West Bank, and acting like it's this like intentional zeroing in and ignoring of behavior, all the same behavior in another space. It is this continued dehumanizing of the Palestinian people and acting like they are nowhere in the room when this decision is made. And I'm trying to understand how, as in a quote unquote international security body, you are making a decision about a group of people when no one who represents that group of people is in the room. Like, what is going on? And the audacity that two countries that have the veto sit and abstain. And while, I mean, for years now, the US has been the lone hand in the room, vetoing everything that could have any possibility of of respecting the lives of the Palestinian people. Like it is infuriating, and I'm trying to figure out where the group is that was supposed to be trying to push for the larger body in the UN to do this vote that requires the 60% that would then send in a group that actually maybe could have some role in helping the Palestinian people, that would block the US and Israel from being involved since they've been, and Europe from being involved since they've been part of the complete and utter destruction of Gaza and the genocide of the Palestinian people. Like, where is that going? Like, what is going on with that group? Where's that vote at? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know where any of those votes are. And again, the United Nations is not a democratic body. It is the Security Council, which holds the majority of the power. The Security Council, which is made up of the large states. The Security Council, which once was almost completely controlled by European states directly, and through the League of Nations, which is how we got the first referendum that supposedly created Israel, the Israeli state in the first place, when there weren't even any Arab states in the body, no Muslim states in the body whatsoever. So this is just a continuation of European dominance in another form. And then the media covers it as if it is some sort of international group agreement, which needs to be respected and honored because the powerful bodies. This is not the General Assembly's vote. The General Assembly, if allowed to make the real decisions in the United Nations, particularly decisions that involve security, that involve sending in forces. Remember, the General Assembly is not allowed to make any of those decisions. It is the Security Council. So five big states plus rotating states, I think another 13 rotating states or whatever, that get to make these kind of decisions, but not the overwhelming body, which has consistently voted and called Zionism racism, which has consistently condemned Israel. That body does not get to make these decisions. This is a body of European nations, second-tier nations in the world these days, right? France, Germany, England. Those folks have permanent seats to make votes in the Security Council. A country like India, Brazil, countries with literally hundreds of millions of people, if not a billion people, like India, does not have a vote. No African nation has a full vote on the Security Council. So this is basically, an old world structure that continues to exist. And again, the thing that I'm particularly upset about is that China and Russia do not have to play this game. At least I feel like there doesn't seem to be a real reason why they have to play this game the way they're playing it any longer. Russia is literally at war with the West. The West has literally backed Ukraine, sent in weapons to bomb Russia. But Russia is too interested. Putin is so interested in cutting deals. This would have no effect whatsoever on China-U.S. relations if China said no. Right? But if it was in China's, if China felt like if this was a vote on Taiwan independence, China would say no. But this shows that, we don't have the type of revolutionary governments or movements that we once had in the past. China is supposed to be a communist government, a workers' government, but it's not voting against basically the victor of a genocidal war. It's going to vote for the genociders in this particular case. It just doesn't make any sense, except that we still don't have what we think is a multipolar world. We still have a unipolar world where the United States and Europe, obviously getting weaker, but still control and dominate not only the world economics, but the world political scene.
Yeah. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but China has continued to trade with Israel throughout this genocide. I think it's increased its trade. I think the reasoning that I have heard be given, right, is that there's some kind of technology transfer, military kind of technology transfer that is included within that, or they're giving China like a backdoor to US tech or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, right, that is the material condition of what's happening, right? They are continuing to do that trade, wherever their reasons are, right? And I do think it's important for us to have like a sober analysis around what the place of these countries, right, and their relationship to like global anti-imperialist struggle, right? Because I don't, in BAP we go through this all the time about how this myth about China colonizing Africa, right? And like that isn't true, right? However, that doesn't mean that there aren't critiques to be made, right? Of China, of Russia, right? Of countries that maybe could do more than they're doing right now. So, yeah, I just think we need to kind of continue to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think when history goes by, the only people and nations that are going to, at least in my humble opinion, stand tall over time will be the forces in Yemen.
I was about to say
Hezbollah, Iran, like the so-called axis of resistance, who don't have they don't have the economic strength, they don't have the political strength, they don't have the military strength, but yet they stood strong, right? And these nations paid prices. Their people were literally bombed because they stood up to warmongers. So China,
they stood up for what is legally required. Like these countries are legally required to intervene in the case of a genocide, and they all know it's a genocide, right? So like, shout out to Yemen, of course, right? But I just want to, they are meeting their legal obligations. Like that's what they're doing, and I feel like on the other side of that is that all these other countries are explicitly not only not meeting their obligations, they're kind of operating in contradiction to international law for whatever that's worth, right? Obviously, it's not.
I mean, they're acting on the side of people who are creating who have literally murdered hundreds of thousands of their fellow Arabs, particularly talking about the nations of the Middle East and their fellow Muslims, which is on its face should be thought about as crazy. Obviously, there's other politics that they are putting forth, and those are the politics of greed, of corruption. Those are the politics of being close to Western hegemony. But Saudi Arabia, a powerful nation, could have led an oil embargo, particularly against Israel, did nothing. Early on in this conflict, could have done that. Could have threatened through OPEC, could have threatened the United States with some sort of oil embargo, did nothing. They did nothing to slow down the genocide. In fact, the only reason there was any accord signed prior to like the accord that brought about the so-called ceasefire, which wasn't a real ceasefire, is because Israel went one step too far and bombed United Arab Emirates, seeking to kill more Hamas negotiators. And they caught their near chips with Trump, right? Because of all the money deals. Because they, not because they bombed Palestinian land or murdered Palestinian children, bombed Palestinian mosques, schools, hospitals. That wasn't why there was a ceasefire. It was because they took a step too far and they burned they basically bombed a piggy bank of the United States. And that's why we got even the accord that we did get. So it wasn't because all of a sudden someone saw some light on the genocide and what was happening with the genocide and decided that morals should trump people's personal, political, and economic interests. That didn't matter at all for these folks. The only thing that matters is that, oh, you bombed us. Now, no, that's a step too far. You can kill 100,000 of our fellow travelers, of our so-called people, of our so-called Muslim faith, people of our Muslim faith. You can do that, and we won't utter a word. We'll keep quiet. Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, they all have blood on their hands because they've allowed this to happen, all for exchanges of wealth, which in their country people, if their fellow folks are poor, or like Egypt is a disgrace as a nation in terms of its economic well-being, not because it doesn't have some resources, but because it has an elite that basically continues to hoard resources and do no distribution to the everyday people.
Yeah. What other terrible news do we have?
No, it's for real. It's so infuriating, and it's very, I don't even know. And Cloud's right, like she said, and I lost it somewhere because I was distracted after I read it, that like we can't expect the international bodies to protect anybody, which I don't. I have no delusions at all.
It's not expecting them to do it, but you got to call them out when you don't, right?
But also, I think one of the things that I've I've been engaging in and listening to multiple people speak is a lot of times when I hear Palestinians speak on this, they're very clear that they're willing to take every single option that is made available to stop what's happening. And so this is my thought is not so much about the Security Council. They've been useless from the beginning, but this larger question about the larger UN body and this vote that's supposedly possible if they can get 60% of the body to agree, that maybe if the countries who are actually invested in saving the lives of Palestinian people would be involved in this process, that there could be some benefit to that. I don't know if there could be. I don't know if it will serve any purpose, long term. But if there are folks who are in Palestine who are saying they need to have this vote, and if there is a group of countries that are willing to send people who are actually going to be helpful because they're not involved in the genocide, then I'm in full support of that. Mostly because I just want the Palestinians to stop getting killed off. I want them to stop getting blown up. I want this to stop. And if maybe this happens in Palestine, perhaps it is a roadmap to stop it in Haiti, or a roadmap to stop it in Congo, and I don't know, but there has to be something, right? There has to be something.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think the best thing we can hope for is for it to heighten the contradictions, right? Because the mechanism does exist, right? Whether or not, the Security Council or the U.S., EU, NATO axis of domination that BAP always talks about, whether that is allowed to happen, right, is another question. But I do think that, like, at least hiding the contradiction and allowing for people to see what this, as Eric was saying in the chat, right, what this body can and can't do, right? Very much connected to its history, right? Like it was never made, it was never designed to be like a body of liberation, right? Like that was never its purpose. But it would be interesting to see that contradiction, the ones you're talking about, Renee, kind of play itself out. Because if only for people to realize that we need to create a mass anti-imperialist people's movement, amongst the global South, amongst organizations, right? Even if that's what comes from it.
Yeah, I don't know which body would have some power to do something over the Security Council. I would only suggest that the only ways in which these bodies change is either through radical revolutionary governments that protest them, right? That leave them,
right.
Or that directly challenge them. And so what we're missing is a larger revolutionary movement that will literally challenge them, because basically the capitulation to Western hegemony has almost been complete at this particular stage. So these bodies won't change until the world situation changes. And again, because the hegemony of the United States and Europe, they are seeking, right, and continue to seek, and have always sought to stomp out resistance. Hence Venezuela, hence Haiti, hence the axis of resistance. And as we speak about, I think here in other places, it's not always this left ideological forces that they go after. Any ideological force that claims to move away from Western hegemony or Western control then becomes a source to be, a place to be taken down, or a group to be taken down, or a government to be taken down. This is really what they do over and over again. And again, those nations that seem to be strong enough to push back. Again, revolutionary China certainly did not have the resources that current China has. But yet revolutionary China, at least at one point in its history, gave weapons and material aid to radical revolutionary movements that were fighting Western hegemony. The USSR was never a big economic powerhouse of a country, but yet under a different ideological belief system, it helped support the liberation struggles that we hold up to this day, right? And so the fact that there are allies and friends who would go against Western hegemony that were big enough to do so, but not the biggest in the world, meant something. In these days, as other countries still, again, challenge Western hegemony, they don't have the friends that they used to, right? The friends with institutional resources, those folks are not around. And again, I call out Russia in particular because the West is literally at war with them right now. They lose nothing in terms of what's already been happening to them by going out and saying and voting against this, and vetoing this. China is economically not dependent on the U.S. China has made itself over the last decade or two, has slowly made sure that its economy is somewhat decoupled from a lot of the United States. The harm that the United States can do to China is mutually assured that China can do harm back, as in what China had already threatened with the minerals and so forth, that they were going to hold back. So China has weapons at disclosure too, and no one is suggesting right now that they would be sending their own troops to defend Palestine or anything else. But there's so much the more they could do in the middle, which would have no impact whatsoever on their economy, which would have no impact whatsoever. Whatever trade China does with Israel is probably negligent in terms of any GDP for China. Whatever technology China gets from Israel, I'm sure there's other places that China can find that technology. In fact, China itself is building up its own technological resources so that it doesn't have to depend again on the West. So again, I feel like again, I'm sure we could break down their political reasoning for why they did what they did, but in the end, it's an act of cowardness, because there's nothing in reality that they could do to harm these countries, that they should be fearing, that would not allow them to at least veto this resolution.
Well, I feel like this is not directly related, but I do think it's important to point out, right? Like while the U.S. is doing this BS abroad, meanwhile, 24% of households, almost a quarter of households in the United States, are living paycheck to paycheck. So I wonder if we could maybe jump into that one after this.
Yeah, we can go to that story next after we bring up the ear doctor for a quick break.
All right. Good reporting. Yeah, I guess it's time for a break, and then we can come back with some more right here on No Other. Big shout out to Corey, who sent some birthday love by going to my Cash App and showing some love. I'll put it up one more time. Big up to Corey, $EARDR1, birthday love. I appreciate it, Corey. Big up to you. Thanks for the love. All right, let's go ahead and take a break and come back. Why your face is like that?
Well, I was, that you took the time to try to get some money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But two, I was also reading the chat, and I do, after we do Evan's story, I do want to come back to the idea that somehow Venezuela is not being invaded because of Russia, which I don't think is true at all. But let's get into the discussion.
Okay, stick around, y'all. Let's get back to that discussion right after this break, right here on the Remix Morning Show. Damn it! Why ain't the music coming?
Where's the music?
Oh, there we go. Hey, remix on the remix.
Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year on them. Go on a vibe, give thanks for life. Next year we doing it again. Yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year on them. More life to you, go there till the end. Real from the heart, no pretend. Big birthday, push. If I ever panic, come, nigga, splash. Give thanks for your life, oh gosh. Watch it, they make me go dip in at the stash. Drink and smoke, so we frost. Turn up the sound box. Y'all them a bubble to the max. Everything well, cool and relax. So we send out the location. They a pass spot. We pop champagne non-stop, yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Go on, one a vibe. Give thanks for life. Next year we're doing it again. Yeah, again, yeah, again. Yeah.
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 2010 with Erykah Badu off that album New America Part 2, Return of the Amp. Name of that song is Turn Me Away. Mixed with a little bit of 2024, we talk about the man them called Busy Signal. Name of that song is Happy Birthday. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, donate where, blkliberationmedia.org. Show your love, hit that like, tell a friend to tell a friend it's on again. And if you like the mix, you like the love, you see that at the bottom of the screen, $EARDR1. That's right. With that said, hope y'all have some fun and let's get back to it.
I'll wait on your doorstep till you let me come in. Hey, I'll be your best friend. Say, money, can you come out and out and out and out and out?
Yeah. All right.
That was a dope mix.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It wasn't bad.
I thought it was all right. I don't usually think my shit is all right, but I thought that was all
Oh,
right.
really? You're not a big fan of your own mixes?
Sometimes.
All right.
Yeah.
It can't be hit and miss. I agree with you.
Yeah, like sometimes, you can go and check out the organic blends mix where all those are certified bangers.
Yeah, but is that going to be any good? Considering
that's already been out, bro, for like a minute.
Was it good though? You just said that you're not even.
It was great. It was great. It was bangers all day. Stop playing.
Aren't you on like volume 2 now or something like that? I thought you.
I was supposed to be. There's a lot of things going on.
We'll wait for the announcement. I don't want to.
It'll be here soon before the year's out. All right.
All right. Oh man. Okay. Kamal, could you bring up that story?
Yeah. Well, you got to do a little intro thing. I won't do it until you do a little intro. Welcome back to the remix. Go ahead, do a little intro. Let's get you popping on that. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. Thank you everybody for coming out. You could be anywhere this morning, but you're here with us. Shout out to the chat as always. Excellent points from the chat. All my comrades, shout out to them. And please donate, not just to the Ear Doctor for his birthday, but also to this channel, right? So that we can keep bringing you this excellent analysis, these excellent mixes, these connections to movements on the ground, like Black Alliance for Peace, like Pan-African Community Action, like community movement builders. Yeah.
That was good. Good.
Getting better, huh?
I liked it. Okay, we got the story up. It says 24% of households living paycheck to paycheck. An analysis. Do you want to read some of it, or you want me to? Or do you want to?
Yeah, I can read it. Just
okay.
Let me. Okay. A quarter of American households are living paycheck to paycheck, according to a new analysis from Bank of America. Slow wage growth has contributed to an increase in households with limited savings. Lower income and middle-aged households bear the brunt of rising costs. The number of middle-aged households living paycheck to paycheck has increased compared to Generation Z and the silent generation, older than baby boomers, whose conditions have relatively stayed the same. Higher income millennial households saw their wages, I think this is the funny part. Higher income millennial households saw their average wages grow 5 percentage points faster than the rate of lower income households in the same generation, according to the analysis released on Monday. Higher income Gen Zers have outpaced their lower income counterparts by 4 points, and higher income baby boomers have seen wage gains while their lower income peers are seeing declines. I want to pause here because this is the BS that the capitalist media gets up to. Do you see how they break up these generations and say the higher income part of this generation is doing better than low income? Just say higher income people, right? Our households are just doing better across the board. Just say that, right? But that would obscure the kind of class analysis that this is trying to avoid by making this generational. I just wanted to point that out. When I was reading that, I was like, oh, that's slick. Consequently, these higher income cohorts are more able to absorb the recent acceleration in inflation due to their outsized wage growth, while lower income households' wage growth has not kept pace, it added. For the report, households were defined as living paycheck to paycheck if in the quarter their necessity spending exceeded 95% of their income. Necessity spending is rent, like all your bills, things that cannot wait, things are going to come out of your account regardless. The bank found that the number of households in the Northeast and Midwest living paycheck to paycheck increased using year-over-year data, while decreased for those living in the South and the West. I thought that was interesting. I mean, it says later that it's because of less intense inflation, but I'd be curious about a deeper analysis. The bank's analysis said the latter regions had lower inflation rates, contributing to more financial stability. Still, those areas have households that are more likely to be facing monetary strain. I'm trying to think if there's another piece of here that I wanted to call out. Okay, just this quote right here, or rather this paragraph. Transactions tabulated, just so we're clear, transactions tabulated as necessary spending range from healthcare, or rather range from childcare, external credit card payments, gasoline, general retail, grocery, housing, mortgage, rent, insurance, cable TV, broadband, public transportation, tax payments, vehicle costs, and payments. So, right, that's what they mean by necessity spending, right? And that's 95% of people's, most of these people's paychecks. And something I want to point out, not just that class kind of them trying to mystify the class element of all of this, but also when we talk about when BAP talks about defeating the war against African people at home and abroad, this is a part of that war, right? This is an economic warfare against people, right? People that, are trying to survive in this country, right? And the way in which that war is waged, at least economically, in all ways, right? But in this case, economically, directly relates to how the U.S. operates abroad, right? All the money that is not spent here, feeding people, clothing people, housing people, right, gets to get into the military-industrial complex, rotation, so that people can make money off of it, right? When we talk about war as a process of accumulation, right? This is how that works, right? Sucking resources and accumulating resources from the working class, from colonized population. So those are the only things I wanted to point out. But this is gross, right? And this is the same country that touts itself as leader of the free world, quote unquote, and all this other nonsense. A quarter of people are in this situation in this country. Quarter of households.
And I'm sure if it says a quarter, it's much higher, right? Sure. I'm sure if it's a Bank of America study, I'm sure that the obviously I think the rate of poverty and need is much higher in this country than what they're letting on.
If I'm spending 80% of my check instead of 95% of my check, I'm okay. It's just 80%.
What percentage am I? Yeah, 80. If it was at 80% as opposed to 95%, then I'm sure it's probably like 50 to 60% of the population, right? That's having to put the vast majority through these so-called necessity items. I saw some picture over the weekend. Someone showed like U.S. fighter jets, like all in the desert, like rotting away, kind of thing. Just like and pointed out the obvious. Like, imagine if that money was spent on healthcare or housing. So it's never a case that the United States doesn't have the resources. It's always a case of who gets the resources. Something else I saw pointing out this weekend that Elon Musk is now worth $500 billion. And that within 2 years, the expectation is that he will become the world's first trillionaire. Celebrated as if that's somehow a positive thing, that kind of capital accumulation can happen while, again, people in this country and all over the world are starving, or that they can give out $60 billion to whoever their friends are to keep them in power. But it hasn't led to, again, people are so isolated and feel like they can't be a part of something, that it hasn't led to the upheavals that it should have on a regular basis. And I think that's also part of the problem. Like, the propaganda system is so strong that it continues to isolate us. Where all day, any day, we're busy talking about things or involved in things which doesn't have anything to do with the redistribution of resources. And unfortunately, a critical mass of us are involved in those other things. So, so the system is still as capitalism is still getting weaker, which I think is true. It is by no means fallen on its face and about to die. As hegemony around the world is getting weaker in terms of U.S. and Western hegemony, by no means has it fallen on its face and is about to die. That will only take a worldwide people's movement. So when people say to me like, "Oh, the reason why the capitalists or the U.S. or the whatever military it is acting so violently is because they're at their weakest," I was like, "Is that what you think?" Because that's not to me a demonstration of weakness. That's a demonstration of brute force, of saying that they will use and continue to use all means and mechanisms to continue their domination over the planet and over people. And it's only our lack of organization, I think, that stops us from putting up a real fight.
Yeah, and I would agree. I would just say that the weakness, when I talk to comrades about that, it's really about the ideological weakness, right? Like they're um, this idea, right? This myth, this American myth, right? That has been propagated for such a long time, that is crumbling, right? And people are less receptive to that, not just because of material conditions, but because of the work that organizations on the ground, like the ones we're attached to, have been doing for such a long time, right? And building people's consciousness. That being said, to your point, they still wield an absurd amount of military and physical, right, and coercive force, right, that needs to be reckoned with. So, yeah, just want to kind of make that
Yeah.
distinction. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
And just to be clear too, like that propaganda, I'm so real quick, that propaganda, even those propaganda gains can be rolled back by other propaganda that comes out to take its
That's
place.
true.
So it's an ongoing
That's true.
war. I'm sorry, Renee.
No, you're good. I don't know that the US, I know in multiple places people are seeing the cracks. I don't know that people really understand how much bullshit the US is about. I really don't know. I mean, it's definitely, I would think vis-a-vis Palestine and Israel, it has definitely shown its horns in multiple ways. But you still have people, I mean, look at what just happened in the Security Council. Like, you still have people bending the knee. You still have the president of Trinidad pretending like, the US going blowing up ships in the ocean is not problematic. You still, like, there are all these things happening that make me wonder, like, I think people, like regular people in mass who are paying attention, are definitely, more people are clear now that the US is like a mess, right? But I don't know that any of the people who are making the decisions, whether they're aware of it or not, are doing anything that counters the strategy of the US. And as you see different, like you see Canada literally like just running behind the US and doing all the same dumb shit that the US and the UK are doing, right? You see the UK making decisions that are literally like hemming up Holocaust survivors and throwing them in the backs of vans because they support groups that don't support genocide, right? You have, wasn't it just an election in Chile where the right wing, like, presidential candidate, what, like, so it's not even a question of whether or not what you're saying is true. It's a question of whether or not the validity of the, like, the actual reality of what the US is doing, what's happening in the US, is actually moving forward in any way, shape, or form that can stop the US from doing the shit that it's doing. And I don't know that it can. I don't know that it is. Like, it's just such a, it's just it's so, like, messy is such a bad and poor word for it, but it's also like the best word for it because it's fucking messy. Like, it's just a mess, and everyone's afraid of what the US is going to do in response to the thing that they do. Like, for all we can say about China and Russia, and it wouldn't even, we're already a proxy war with Russia. Why wouldn't Russia veto it? The fact that they didn't veto it says everything. The fact that China didn't veto it says everything, right? Because they had the ability to do so. And US vetoes shit all the time without even blinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Just some thoughts.
No, good thoughts. I agree. Like, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, again, the I do think that people have in mass, like Oren said, I mean, like Evan said, in a critical mass of people, I should say, around the world, seems the veneer again has shown itself. But the question becomes, do people feel organized enough to consistently and constantly do something that either pushes and topples their home governments or forces their home governments to think differently or do something differently, and or whether or not revolution happens, that people take these spaces over. I think that's very much in flux in terms of what can happen and won't happen, but it does. But um, the fact that we've seen so many mass protests against Palestine again over the last 18 months to 2 years, and it probably did have some impact, obviously, on what was taking place, but not the sufficient impact where, again, day after day after day, we see these videos of Palestinians being murdered and killed and their land taken, burned, so forth and so on. So and particularly by these so-called Israeli I don't even know what to call them, who go into the West Bank and other areas and freely act the way they want to, with the idea of standing there, watching, supporting, pushing back. They've been emboldened. They have not slowed down by the fact that they have lost the cover of being a so-called nation state supported by the West, with a cover story that suggests that the land was theirs, that they're returning to their homeland, that this was a way to avoid future genocides, as opposed to an imperialist project that allowed Europe to do a couple of things they wanted to do, was establish to agree to establish an outpost in the Middle East, and in some ways to get rid of a Christian-dominated Europe, to get rid of a large Jewish population. So that stuff has continued to happen and exist. Again, even as the veneer of what the U.S. represents in the world has become more clear, but that doesn't mean that, at least in my opinion, that this nation has shown itself to be in a weaker hegemonic state, even as it's currently, even as it's exposed to be an overtly white nationalist government in power. It hasn't weakened its position around the world. It hasn't stopped other nations from bargaining with it or doing economic deals with it. South Africa, after all the things that it's done, hasn't turned its back and fully embrace another strategy as opposed to continuing to trade, particularly, and obviously we're talking about the elites of these countries, but it is not also as if there hasn't been major critical mass of uprisings in these countries, even forced the elites to do something differently. So, so I think there's a lot of work to be done to think through what happens, sort of which way forward in terms of there being opposition to Western and U.S. hegemony.
Yeah, I just want to highlight this point, right? This because it's coming up in the chat, right? But like, if these international organizations are not going to save us, we already know that, right? They are. BAP says U.S., EU, NATO, axis of domination for a reason, right? These are all related institutions, right? What we need are people's movements, right? Which is why BAP has the Zone of Peace campaign to create peace across the Americas. And I want to highlight this example because I think it is illustrative, right, of the point that people are making, that Erica and Cloud are making in the chat in particular. But Ecuador just vetoed having U.S. bases in their country, right? And the Ecuadorian leader is right wing, right? But the people said no, right? As Erica is mentioning, right? So it is, yeah, this is the one, right? From Ricky. Ecuador voted against U.S. bases in the country. Huge update. It is, right? And just pointing out that Ecuador leadership is right wing, Trump ally, but the people said no, right? And it is the masses of people that we need to kind of to make these changes, to push back. We can use these heads of state, but there will always be tools, right? The masses need organization and movements, right, for us to use these tools, right, to do what we want, but they are never going to be the answer in of themselves. And pointing out from Clow that the Ecuadorian orgs are involved in the U.S. NATO Out of America's network, right? Building and sharing notes with comrades in the region, heightening not only their analysis but their targets, right? So these are the kind of, if you just read that headline, right, like it would just be like, oh, well, maybe this leader had a change of heart, or maybe there's something going on, right? But like there's a deeper analysis happening where between these movements and these mass movements of people, right, that we need to call out, because that's how we're going to get what we want in the end. Just want to highlight
So really quickly, I did want to come back to the idea that somehow Venezuela is protected, or the United States has not invaded yet because of Russia, or that it has Russian weapons or of some kind, which I don't necessarily think. I think the U.S. is still contemplating, for various reasons, moving ships in terms of what it will do in Venezuela. And I think we, all of us, need to sort of continue to blow the whistle now that it's possible that an invasion will happen, or that bombs will be dropped, or that there could be a potential attempt at an overthrow. But nothing in that scenario strikes me as it not taking place because of Russia protecting Venezuela. Because Russia, it can obviously barely protect itself in some ways. So I don't think that's the sort of like the domino that's preventing the other dominoes from falling. I do think that within the right-wing coalition that's happening now, there is a sense of Trump is involving himself in his own version of forever wars, that some of them are pushing back against. So I think that may be hesitant, but I think he thinks of himself as Nero, and that he's a world conqueror, and that he can do what he wants and as he pleases. And again, having the biggest military force in the world at your disposal, the constant bombing of these speedboats and these ships that are made up of fishermen and fisher people is ludicrous on its face, and has now already killed, I think, over 24 people. But none of that has stopped none of that has done anything in terms of what's happening to stop. I mean, Venezuela is not in any position in which it has stopped any of that from happening. And none of the other nations, there's been a lot of complaints about it. But they continue to do that, potentially in the preparation for continuing to put out their own propaganda about Venezuela being a narco state, which for them gives them an excuse. And even as we see some of the propaganda written up in the Western media, which directly says that they are doing this as a way to combat drugs, or another suspected drug boat, when they know they're not suspected drug boats. They're basically just ways in which they're probing for how far they plan to go, and potentially in terms of overthrowing the leader of Venezuela and installing the Nobel Peace Prize winning right-wing stooge who wants to come to power so badly. One in a long line of right-wing stooges who wants to come to power so badly. So,
right. Who's calling for this? Who's asking for more of this, by the way, right? This Nobel Peace Prize winner. It's ridiculous. All right. Is there another story somebody wants to jump to?
There is we could do the Epstein story.
Okay. Pull that up. What is this? Oh yeah, Trump said, okay, I got you.
Since this is something that continues to dominate mainstream news around the Epstein files and what may be in it, it says Trump says he will sign bill to release Epstein files if it reaches his desk. Donald Trump on Monday.
Wait, real quick. I just love when they say, if it reaches my desk. It is like the biggest hint that they don't want to sign shit. But he feels like he has to say this. But he probably also knows it's not going to get to his desk. It's such bullshit. The man writes executive orders like he wipes his ass. Like every day he's writing something to demand something, to make something happen. You could write an executive order that says release the files, no? So this is bullshit. I just wanted to point that out. Sorry.
No, it's been noted several times that he doesn't have to wait for Congress to pass a bill to force him to open it, that or release the files. That he on his own could do that. His administration could release the files, as they promised to do as part of his campaign promises to, again, his right-wing constituency. But he has not done so. And obviously the speculation that he has not done so because the idea is that he is mentioned too much, or there may be too much information in there that directly relates to him, and or my speculation would be it directly relates to other people that he is close to who are now asking him, like, look, we knew that was a campaign promise, but let's sweep this under the rug. But again, within this right-wing coalition, this has been one of their fiery points from the beginning, was that the Epstein files had to be released, because somehow, this became some huge issue within the Republican right-wing camp around how it exposes the pedophile of a certain class of folks, pedophilia amongst a certain class of folks, being in bed with Epstein, both literally and figuratively, of course. And this has been sort of a cause célèbre around corrupt leadership. And Trump seized upon that during his campaign. But once he got into office, he flipped and said that he would not release, or they would only release certain small things that did not include him. And I think with this recent dump by the Democrats in power in Congress of some emails, the fervor has only picked up again by the right wing, which was at some point recently deciding not, like Mike Johnson, the leader of the House, Republican leader of the House, would not call a vote, would not do anything. But now they were being forced to do so. And there is part of a speculation that now he's lost control of the vote on this particular issue, and that there's a possibility that the Republicans and the Democrats will have enough votes to call for the release, and that now he's trying to get in front of this by suggesting that he also wants it released. So there's a lot of game playing here around what the files, and again, most of us don't know what the file are in the files. There's a lot of speculation around it. I'm sure he knows what's in the files. And I'm sure that there'll be, even if they release the files, there'll probably be multiple pages that are redacted or not released with everything else that comes out. Or they'll do such a huge dump of files that it will take forever to get to it. And they'll try to create their own conspiracy ideas around the files to take people's attention away from Trump and what Trump knew and what Trump was involved in. So really quickly, it says President Donald Trump on Monday said he would sign a bill to compel the Justice Department to release all files relating sex offender, to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, if it reaches his desk. He says, I'm all for it, he said as he took reported questions in the Oval Office, pressed again moments later if he would sign the bill that the House is set to take up Tuesday. Trump replied, sure, I will. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take away from us. It's really a Democratic problem, he said. The comments come after Trump's sudden reversal on Sunday that House Republicans should vote on releasing the files after his months-long opposition to the measure, an effort that reluctantly culminated with what sources said was an attempt to dissuade GOP Representative Lauren Boebert in the White House Situation Room from supporting the discharge petition to force a floor vote. So the basic story is that after they've attempted now to do the things that they've done to keep the files from being released, they now see the possibility that the files will now be released, and are hedging their bets in some ways to suggest that they want this stuff to come out into the public and they want it to be aired.
Yeah. And I mean, the more you read that article, right, it's clear that Republicans are like, it's like they play this game right now. Trump is willing to sign it, but the Republicans in the House and Senate are like, well, we got to see what's in it, and we'll see what happens, right? So it is absolutely the game that they're playing, right? Kind of continue to toss the ball back and forth, right? Democrats did make a point in that article that he could just release the files, but and they're the ones that release those emails, right? But I'm under no illusions that I don't think the Democrats want this either, right? Because they're just like the Republicans that are on that list, on those lists and on those planes, and they're also Democrats on those lists and on those planes. I think the expression of the ruling class that our government is like has absolutely no interest, right, in elucidating any of this, right? For me, I feel like this is, a distraction that they can, while they try to wage war against Venezuela, while they continue to commit a genocide in Palestine, right? This is something they can just kind of continue to, throw back and forth and keep in the media, right? But I do want to, regardless, like, let's say they do release these files. Like Stone Chatter was in the chat about, okay, let's say release the files. Who's going to hold any of them accountable? Like, then what? Right? So what? Not so what as in like, because not so what, but like these people, we've seen over and over and over again, right? The way in which these do not hold people in power accountable, right? So when whoever is eventually on those files, right, I have no doubt like they'll get at most a slap on the wrist, right? And there's like a whole bunch of business with Ghislaine Maxwell, right, in prison, saying that Trump wasn't involved and didn't know anything because she's clearly trying to get a part, right? It's just it's a mess. But I do feel like overall it feels like a distraction. So that's how
Can I just tell you, as you said, distraction, it just reminded me that in another group that I'm on, there's somebody that's always sending these long ass emails that's just like rambling crazy stuff. And somebody else wrote and said, I'm going to block this person because they are a weapon of mass distraction. And I almost fell out of my chair because it was such a good way. And that's what he is. He is a weapon of mass distraction. He's now, after months of saying he is not going to allow these files to get released because he thinks that he can use whatever is in the files about the Democrats or Biden or whoever. Like, he thinks he'll be able to use that to distract from the amount of times that his name is in the files. And the most important thing that you said that I think really none of this matters. Right? Like on the grand scheme of things, they are not going to hold any of these people responsible, right? They're not, so many of the people who are named in these things are people who are literally, they've got millions of dollars, they're running organizations, they're running corporations, they're running banks, they're all completely ingrained in this larger group of people who are doing nothing but killing off people with capitalism. So, if releasing these files was actually going to result in one of these shitty ass people getting removed from a position or not being allowed to run something or serving some alternate purpose that's actually, like, even if it was going to result in the people who were victimized feeling as if something was done to ease their harm, to ease their suffering, I would be but that's not going to happen either. Like, all that's going to happen is people are going to, and now there's even more harm coming because now people know what they've done and they're still not doing anything, right? Like, it is the wildest. There's been so much conversation about this. Like, even in one other chat I am, people are like, oh my God, Norm Chomsky. I'm like, the man said, like probably 2-3 years ago that he didn't have a problem talking to Epstein. He had already served his time. Like, he was very clear about this. I don't know what the surprise was. This shit is bananas to me that this is what people, like, who gives a fuck? They're not going to do anything. If they were going to do something, then you could give a fuck. They're not going to do anything. Nothing. All they're going to do is spend more time talking about it. The media is going to talk about it. Everybody's going to talk about it. Meanwhile, they're going to be pointing out how, oh no, look at what's happening to the Christians in Nigeria. Like, so they can go invade Nigeria next, right? while pretending like that shit's not already happening in other places, and they're ignoring it. It drives me fucking batty. Sorry, mommy. I know you tell me to stop cursing so much, but it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, these structures have no issue with abuse, right? They have no issue with murdering and abusing children, right? Because they're doing it all the time. So this is just an example of that. The other point is that Epstein was very clearly involved with, the Zionist entities, security state, right? So that's another reason why we're probably not going to get the answers about any of this.
So speaking of somebody who's going to give us some answers, though, let's bring back up the ear doctor.
You know it. And I feel you on that, Evan. Yeah, it's not a Democratic, not a Republican Party. When they got on that island, it was the party. That was all. Everybody was partying. It's like sex, drugs, and music. It's no politics. It's all about everybody loves it. I don't care what side of the aisle you on. All right, speaking about that, let's take you back to a time when cocaine was popular. We're gonna be doing a classical breakdown back in 1986. So make sure y'all tune in this Thursday at 11 o'clock for that classical breakdown. Me and Burn It Down, Kim Brown. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we come back with some more of the Remix Morning Show. Y'all got anything to say? No? Cool. I'll keep it moving. All right.
Don't know if you got a girl. Don't mean to disrespect, but all of you rule my world. I even dream of you, I swear. Visions of you.
Man, I gotta see that new Tidra Moses performing this. Ooh, baddie. Looking like Claire Huxtable. All right, anyway, let's get to it. Let's talk about the Remix Morning Show. Let's talk about all the dope shows that come on. You can watch Saturdays with Renee, or now you can watch Saturday night with no other than Dr. Jared Ball. So let's see what Dr. Jared Ball was watching and talking about when he's talking about a bossy lady. Yes, a bossy lady. Let's see what they're talking about right here on Saturday nights with Dr. Ball.
I think that for me, the takeaway is always like, as the diaspora, like wanting people to see that like it's super safe and you can invest money, you can be here, you can live here. I live here, and it's just got all the things you need.
So it's safe for investment capital. So that's good to know. That's good to know. It's safe. So get your investments up, and Kenya's spot for you.
It's incredible. I love Rhonda.
All right, so I definitely want to look at more of that, but I think our guests are here. Well, at least, yeah, I believe our guests are here.
Oh, so you might want to go check out the show and see what guest was on the show Saturday night with Dr. Jared Ball. All right, let's get back to it right here on No Other Than a Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
You gotta feel me.
So wait a minute, they were investing where?
In Africa.
In Kenya.
Oh.
In Kenya.
In Kenya?
They're investing in Africa, Kamau, obviously.
Oh.
Africa.
And who was that? Who was the woman? She was that?
That's Khalees.
Khalees.
That's
That was Khalees?
Milkshake.
That's Milkshake?
Yes,
Milkshake,
she's
yeah.
bossy.
Oh.
Yes.
No, Milkshake.
Yeah, she got a milkshake.
Milkshake.
All right. Who are those other people?
I wasn't looking at them. And
I kind of heard it out the back of my head. Like, then that's all I cared about anymore. I was like, what?
Like, those jeans. That's the. Anyway, genuine.
You're right, yeah.
Tried to redirect.
Yeah, no, you did. You tried to make it. Yeah,
it's just like it's not on his birthday. He won't stand for it on his birthday.
But since we are talking about folks who are trying to do political things, I have one more. I have definitely a story that we need to talk about. So, Nicki Minaj. Apparently, Nicki Minaj to spotlight, because you brought this up, Renee, and so it made me go find a story. You said in passing, whatever. Nicki Minaj to spotlight plight of Nigerian Christians in UN speech arranged by White House. So as folks probably know, the rapper Nicki Minaj has gone full MAGA. Rapper to give address on Tuesday after supporting Trump's post condemning Nigerian government. The U.S.-based Trinidadian rapper Nicki Minaj will work alongside the White House to highlight claims of Christian persecution in Nigeria. Minaj is expected to deliver a speech at the United Nations headquarters on Tuesday, according to a Times journalist who spoke, who first posted about the collaboration, adding that it was arranged by Alex, I think, Buritz, an advisor to Donald Trump, responding to the ex post. The U.S. ambassador to the UN confirmed the plan, describing Minaj as not only arguably the greatest female recording artist, but also principled individual who refuses to remain silent in the face of injustice. I'm grateful she's leveraging her massive platform to spotlight the atrocities against Christians in Nigeria. I look forward to standing with her as we discuss steps the president and his administration are taking to end the persecution of our Christian brothers and sisters, he added. Minaj later confirmed the collaboration, writing, "Ambassador, I am so grateful to be entrusted with an opportunity of this magnitude. I do not take it for granted. It means more than you know."
Is she
Mhm.
is she Nigerian in some? Is there some?
No, she's Christian.
Also, it's like some kind of principle stance she has. So she has some kind of principle against genocide. Is that what we're supposed to understand? So she's been talking about genocide in Palestine and genocide like that. She's been doing that, I'm assuming.
Wait. Does she provide Christian music as part of her?
Was WAP not a Christian anthem? Was it not?
I think that's the wrong performer. Wrong performer.
Hey, but wasn't it?
That's not her. No, that's C.R.E.A.M.
Who did she do that with? Who did C.R.E.A.M do that with? Am I tripping?
No, you're tripping. That wasn't with Nicki, because they have even I know this, young Evan.
Okay.
There's a few.
Right.
Oh, here coming the ear doctor. I'm right, right?
I'm sorry.
Ear doc, I'm right, right?
Like, what generation are you in, Evan? You don't know this stuff?
That you got to be corrected by Kamal.
Wow, I know.
That's
Look, I just want to make it clear that I don't know what none of these people sing about nothing. That's why I didn't make any guesses or assumptions. I just know she's not singing no Christian music. So that they have her.
Meg Thee Stallion. That
like,
WAP.
How is
all the
she,
songs I know? I do know the WAP song. Yeah.
So is she gonna play some of her songs?
Her Christian inspired lyrics.
Her Christian inspired lyrics while she's up with it. Like, oh, y'all, this can't be serious. This is why people don't pay Black people no mind, just so you know, because this is the shit that gets publicized. Just so we're all clear.
Entertainment.
At some point, she's become a full Trumper, right? She's wearing MAGA hats. She's all up in that camp.
I'm not caught up on that. What is this whole MAGA thing?
No, she's a supporter of Trump or whatever. And I don't, that part of the background I don't know. I just know it started popping up on the feed about her supporting but basically supporting Trump and reposting his stuff around the so-called genocide against Christians in Nigeria, and then this being her cause célèbre, or her interest is somehow protecting Christians. But again, as these folks say, this is cover for them, right? So again, another well-placed fool, well-placed so-called artist who stands up and backs a story that, and again, this is under the cover of Trump threatening Nigeria. Trump has literally threatened an invasion, threatened to stop what's happening. So this is not just small potatoes, as in this is again another distraction. This is also being used as part of a cover to again potentially allow the United States, whether or not it's going to actually do something, we don't know. But again, at the very least, within a propaganda war, to allow the United States to have more cover by using this Black artist to say, hey, we're on the same side of this. Look, and if this Black person, this person of African descent can say this, then you can't say that about us because she's with us at the same time.
Got her.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
I just also want to point out real quick that I was being sarcastic when I said this is why black people are being taken serious. It's the idea that Nicki Minaj is gonna go stand up at the fucking UN and be a voice for anything. Like, how does this happen? I'm completely unclear. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand why they allow people to do this dumb shit. Like, this is it is just beyond. Actually, let me correct that. I understand why they do it. It's because they're doing dumb shit, right? It's the same reason that they put the black lady to be on the Security Council, so it can be her black ass with her hand in the air, you know, vetoing things that should not be vetoed. Like, this is why, right? Like, it is always putting black people in these spaces so that people can point and say, well, look, there's a black person saying it. And it's fucking infuriating. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
This is the place. Idea. Like, this is what black celebrity serves for. Like, this is their purpose. This is how they're used. And it's true for all celebrity, just like it's true for black celebrity. And just like black capitalism is not separate from broader capitalism, like, this is the same process, right? And I just always insert the Malcolm X quote. Like, just always insert that quote about entertainers not being our leaders, right? Just every time. It's always relevant.
Hired hands. Well, I tell you. I don't think people realize that we're prisoners of war still.
No, I don't think they do either. Because, and again, like, this is somebody, you know, whether or not people feel like, you know, she's talented, she's got hits. This is somebody who has an audience of millions of people. And so when they do say something, it does matter to a certain public that maybe has never heard this before, right? Maybe has never looked into this issue before. Their first way of hearing about some issue like this comes from their favorite rap star, which does mean that those folks may listen to it, or that is their grounding or understanding. And so that's the use of the political tool, is to win somebody. And again, I'm sure she wasn't always, it wasn't like somebody guided her career for this moment, but it's part of, this is what happens in this area. Like, you're expected to, at some point, play a certain role. And most of them willingly play a certain role because they're not interested so much in history or Black oppression and so forth. And they are easily either misled or guided towards these kind of positions. Like, for the life of me, I see the boxer. What's his name?
Back in the day?
No, undefeated.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather. Like, he is a stone cold Zionist.
Yeah,
a stone cold Zionist. And the only thing I can think about is, like, maybe his handlers were Jewish and they filled to his head with that early. But he's taken on trips. He's taken, continually. And look at again, the mayor of New York, a different figure, but a political figure. Again, after losing the mayor's race, he's now making a trip to Israel, where he's doing videos every day, talking about how New York.
Wearing a yarmulke when he's
wearing a yarmulke. Yeah.
Who's Eric Adams?
Yeah, he's in Israel as we speak.
He's in Israel right now. Yes. He posted a thing yesterday talking about him being, he's always going to be here for Israel, and the biggest thing they can call him is brother. Just a quick correction, Kamal. He did not lose. He removed himself from the race prior to the election.
That's what threw me off.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
So technically, and people still voted for him. That's the funny part. People still wrote Eric Adams in, just so we're all clear. Like, that's how serious they were about it. But he's a hot mess.
We need more Paul Robesons in entertainment.
Yeah, we don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that's been beat back. Either like Colin Kaepernick, like what happened to the dude? Like, he just dropped off. He went back to trying to either make some low-key money.
He got some NFL money, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he got some money. He does a couple of good things, but those are like, he does like low-key things. He pays for the funeral autopsies of people who've been abused by the police or died in police custody. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but it's not the fervor of an outspoken person who's been radicalized and then trying to share that knowledge or information to the way in which either he projected himself for a time period, definitely a way in which he was projected by the media. And so again, I'm not necessarily comparing Eric Adams as a political figure, but in some ways, definitely an entertainer also. But again, a captured black face who serves for imperialism and always been such, right? Since his days as a New York cop. He actually, you know, at one point he tried to use the issue of police brutality as a way to get himself closer to the black community, starting an organization that was like Black Cops Against Police Brutality or something like that. So he has attempted to move himself and as some paradigm of protecting the black community, even as a cop. And you can see here, we'll play this video real quick. He's with his NYPD hat on as he makes a statement about his trip to Israel.
Hey, New York. Once again, I'm traveling to Israel to meet with governmental officials, tech leaders, and economic development strategists. But we also want to talk about how do we come together to end the globalized anti-Semitism that we're witnessing take place not only here in New York, but across the globe. We know hate has no place in our country and in other countries across the globe. I'm looking forward to having great conversations and meetings and see how we bring back industry, particularly tech, to our great city of New York. We're going to have a safe trip and a productive journey. Thank you.
And that's just
I don't know why you did that to everybody.
It was just, people need to hear.
That was just wrong. Just wrong. I don't think I like you anymore.
Of several videos, I could play them all if you want.
No,
several videos that he's done since his trip there, highlighting. I think you mentioned one of them where he said, like, you know, he was working on behalf of Israel, that he did his best to work on behalf of Israel and so forth. So, like, this dude is clearly, setting himself up for his next job, either in the Trump administration as some ambassador someplace, or again, as some spokesman for some Israeli companies where he can make his next dollars from. But he's clearly another one of those sort of captured Negroes who serves the interests of empire, and blatantly so.
It's some wild stuff, man. It's some wild stuff. But this is Mani said in the chat, like there has to be a mass movement of people to counter this stuff. Like part of the problem is 100% definitely that there's too much individualism, too much celebrity, too much celebrating of people who do nothing. Like literally, like I don't even know what they're doing that allow them to make that the Kardashians have a television show that's been running for like what do they do? Nothing. They do nothing. They live and people invest all this energy into watching people like live and do shit that they can't do. It's wild to me, but I just found it. And Mani's right. We don't need individual influencers, celebrity activists. We need popular organizations, and I agree.
Yeah.
But I just think organizations need better marketing. And I think that's where these whole celebrities come in, where they got a microphone, they got a reach and stuff like that. So it's like, how do we, if we do work with them? I'm like, Ricky said, what do we expect from them? What do we expect from politicians to get in there and do for us? Do we expect entertainers to get up there and be political and lead us to another place? I mean, they're part of the system.
No, but I do think it's important that we highlight the way they're being used, right? So it's not about lifting them up. It's not about looking for anything from them, right? Because we're not going to get anything from them. It is about lifting up how they are used to mislead our people, right? By the capitalist class, right? They are inherently reactionary as all celebrities are, right? But we should be aware of how they're being utilized. And it's not. I just thought about Jerry when you said that marketing thing, but we're never gonna win the marketing campaign against these people, but we can be in the streets We can be connecting with people, right? You can go to a rally this Wednesday in support of Venezuela's sovereignty if you want to get active, if you're in the DC area, the DMV area, right? We need people in popular movements, and that's what we need to focus on.
Yeah. And although I won't use the term, one quick thing. So somebody did, the name of it was 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement, and that is correct. For the organization that that Adams was a part of and or helped start, probably like now 25 years ago or whatever, where I first encountered him as a New York organizer. And I remember him being with Reverend Al on stage talking about police brutality. But even though I would not use the term the way Doc said, marketing, I agree that the idea of how do we popularize movements. Again, the Panthers had moments where they did things that were meant not only to dramatize something, but was meant to try to capture people's minds and attentions, minds and their attention. When Malcolm agreed to do the CBS produced so-called documentary of the hate that hate produced, he knew that they would not get a fair representation by the network, but he did it as a way of getting in front of millions of eyes so that folks could then check out what the nation was doing, who would still see the strong Black force, whether they were demonized or not. UNIA, when they did marches down the street, parades of thousands of people dressed up in the uniforms and outfits of the UNIA, whether or not nurses or military force, it was a way to popularize the movement, to show not only the strength of what they were building, but the way that it gave organization, involved culture. And so those things are things I think that our organizations don't do a great job of, in terms of, again, I wouldn't necessarily call it marketing, but in terms of letting
it's marketing. Just call it what it is. Call square, spade. The thing is,
letting people know what it is that we do, or we all do, and attempting to do it, and to do it with a certain style that gets people to want to be involved.
Bruh, if I wasn't on this channel, I would not know about CMB. I would not know about PACA. I would not know about BAP. Most Black people know about the NAACP and Black Lives Matter, and that's it. And they've done marketing.
Yep, Black Lives Matter did an incredible social media marketing campaign.
Say what you want.
Yeah, when people say the stuff around how it came out the blue, Black Lives Matter, just people plant that. I don't think some folks don't understand that was not just some oops, they just went viral. There were folks who were in their camp who did marketing, who did social media analysis, who planned to have certain people say certain things at a certain time in order to capture a certain moment in time and when people were out in the streets around police brutality. So there is an idea, I think, I wouldn't call it marketing, but there is an idea that organizations have to do
tomato
of promoting their interest in who they are, so that more people can know who we are. I agree with that.
Organization is a business, so
see,
it is. Do you not run it like a business? As if you're not, then your organization ain't gonna be around too long.
No.
Oh, y'all don't have meetings like business meetings? Y'all don't have no? Y'all don't have strategies like business strategies? No,
it's not a good. I would reject that comparison out of hand. It should not be run like a business. Businesses are run for profit. Well, political organizations are not run for profit. They're run to influence, to do something to change the conditions that people are in.
Profit is our freedom, Black man.
Oh my God! Can you get off the camera? Is it
time?
Lord. We got 5 more minutes. Let's do announcements, man. Which people got coming up?
What business meeting do I have coming up? What business, man?
So real quick, if folks can come back at noon, Dr. Ball and I will be hosting Katina from North Carolina to talk about food and access to food and some things that people can try to do to, manage this current crisis, this current food crisis that we're in. So that is going to happen at noon today. If folks can come back, she was on we had her on, I think, a couple of months ago, and she does a lot of work with feeding folks in the Charlotte area. Shout out to Ashley, who is the person who introduced us. And then on Saturday, and shout out to Hiram, because Hiram introduced us to this brother Ben, who is animation creator. He has a book out, but he had such an interesting story when we did our meeting. I was like, brother, you gotta come to the show. So Ben is going to come on Saturday, and we're also going to be hosting Netfa, who's going to come on and talk about PACA and your anniversary for a little bit first. So we'll be doing all of that on Saturday.
All right. Awesome. What about you, Evan?
This Wednesday, the 19th at noon, please join BAP and Black Alliance for Peace, PACA, and several other organizations for a coordinated day of action to defend Venezuela's sovereignty. We'll be at Barracks Row on Capitol Hill, 8th and G Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. Come out. And then on Saturday, November 22nd, PACA will be celebrating 10 years of work of organizing. So please come join us, 5 to 9. There'll be performances, food, raffles, and we'll be at the Palestine House of Freedom at 650 Pennsylvania Avenue in Southeast.
All right.
I got a little something. I do. Can I do a little something?
You do got something this weekend. Look at that.
I was going to do that one first. First, I'm gonna do this real quick. So this is at the C&B farm. We have a project with a group called Ungrid. And we have built a water catchment system as a model to help get off the grid. And this system here, you can see behind, holds up to 500 gallons of water, catches rainwater, purifies that rainwater to make sure it's good for drinking. There's also solar panels on top, so that we can capture, store electricity in terms of helping get off the grid. Check out the Ungrid project on Instagram. You can see some photos here of folks who were working C&B to build up the project from when it first got started. So excellent project. Again, small project. Oh, look at it. Look at
him acting like he was working. Oh my God. Get up there and take a picture so we can. Oh my God. Hold the ladder. Get out of here.
What are you talking about? I basically planned the whole thing.
Listen, let me tell y'all how the secret is that Kamal be like, y'all ready? All right, I'm gonna take this picture real quick.
I got 2 minutes. Then I gotta go. I gotta get my nap on. So really quick, November 22nd, this upcoming Saturday at 6 p.m. I'm going to be in Los Angeles at Black Lantern Books, a bookstore that we at C&B support. It also houses our chapter in LA, the Community Movement Builders chapter. They were gifted after the passing of a Panther, literally thousands of books, and they used those books to open up Black Lantern Bookstore. It is at 6533 West Boulevard. Come on out. We'll be talking about Cop City, movement organizing, and all the rest of it. So I wish folks could come out. Also, again, I know, Evan just mentioned it, for folks to come out and defend Venezuela and so forth. I know Russia is also defending Venezuela too. I don't want to leave that out, but we have to do our own defending of it also.
All right. And BAP is all over doing that. We're going to have actions in DC, Atlanta, Chicago, SoCal, NYC, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, Toronto, Barbados, and more. So, wherever you are, there's something you can tune into and join. And then for PACA, just hit the Eventbrite at pacaturns10.eventbrite.com. That's PACA, PACA, turns the number 10.eventbrite.com.
All right. And we'll be back here tomorrow with some more. We got some guests coming on also tomorrow and Thursday. Make sure y'all come for Classical Breakdown, Music 101, the year of 1986.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good times there. A lot of Sade during that era. All right. So we're going to get up.
Sadie.
Okay. We're going to get up out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 8 a.m. once again on the Remix Morning Show. Peace out, y'all.
Remix. remix. Remix.